Welcome to Executive Insights. My guest today is Michael Krigsman, founder and host of the popular CXOTalk. Over the years, Michael has spoken with some of the most senior leaders in the Fortune 1000 organizations. I use this opportunity to pick Michael's brain on what's dominating the C-suite conversations, his view about the changing dynamics in the C-suite, the role of the CIO, and much more. Hi, Michael. Welcome to Executive Insights.
Hi, Nasheen. Thank you. It's so great to be here.
Michael, I'm a big fan of you and your work, so it's really an honor to have you on the program today. And, as the host for CXO Talk, you've spoken with some of the most senior leaders in the Fortune 1000 companies. What is the common thread dominating the C-suite conversations?
Nasheen, it's my honor to speak with you. The common thread is, as you would expect, managing this changing environment. Gone are the days where we could predict whether next week we can travel, whether our employees will be working from home, whether the chips that we need to incorporate into our products will be available. And so managing change, responding to the environment, while at the same time trying to keep the ship going. I think that's really the common theme. The other common theme is around employees, making sure that our employees and our coworkers and even our suppliers are safe and able to do their jobs as they want to, as we want them to. So I think there's a whole set of concerns around this changing world.
Absolutely. That's a great piece of insight, managing change and making sure that our people are safe and productive. Absolutely. So one thing that has become quite apparent to me from my personal conversations with our community is that digital transformation is no longer viewed as just a technology tagline. It is now front and center for the C-suite and the board. I'm interested in hearing your perspectives and specifically, how is the C-suite dynamics changing in this era of motivating a digital first and customer-centric workforce?
Nasheen, digital transformation is about placing the customer at the center of what we do. That requires rethinking our operations, rethinking how sales talks to marketing, talks to product development, talks to customer support, cutting across silos. The common theme here is cooperation. And so as I speak with C-suite executives, there is really this urge to break down these barriers across departments. Marketing has to work more closely with sales. The CFO needs to be in lockstep alignment with what IT and the CIO is doing. I personally think that customer experience is the next step beyond digital transformation. So with digital transformation, we place the customer at the center. With customer experience, we're really looking very closely at all those customer touch points, whether it's on the website, again, whether how we're designing our products. This requires even tighter integration, tighter communication, greater understanding among these various groups. It's very hard, especially in organizations that historically have been very siloed. And so there's a good reason that senior business executives, that the CEO, that boards are now placing digital transformation at the center, as you described, because it is a board level and a very senior level management set of issues. The real question is, we're faced with change all around us. How do we rethink our business? How do we adapt while incurring the least amount of disruption to our business, to our employees, to our suppliers, to our revenue, to our customers, to everybody that's involved? That's the real challenge today. And so you've got digital transformation, which by its nature means innovation and change at the same time that the entire world is sort of changing and shifting under our feet. That's the challenge.
Yeah, I agree. And I think also one of the silver linings from this pandemic is it really makes us appreciate so much more having a shared purpose. And another silver lining is, the vital role of the CIO and IT is amplified more so than ever. And because our community is largely the CIO community, I'm interested in your perspectives because as a long-time industry analyst and CIO influencer, you've also spoken with many C-suite peers over the years. So what are your perspectives of a great CIO?
I think a great CIO recognizes that it's business first, mission first, and technology second. And to address a point that you just made about the C-suite peers, so as I talk with CIOs, CMOs, CFOs, really the entire C-suite, the message is loud and clear that these folks want to work closely with the CIO. This means there's a huge opportunity for the CIO. The CIO is the only organizational function that touches every part of the company, right? Marketing is siloed. Marketing focuses on marketing. Finance, the CFO focuses on finance. The CIO and IT underpin everything. And so the real keys to success, the defining characteristics of great CIOs are they understand the business, they understand these various stakeholders, they listen closely, they have operational excellence very well established. So it's the business acumen, the ability to communicate, and the ability to lead IT with this approach in mind that defines a great CIO today, in my view, and from what folks in other departments, business leaders have told me.
Well said. And that's certainly been consistent with my learnings as well. And over the years, I've had the privilege of working with many CIOs, especially in our Canadian CIO community. And I would add a couple things that really impressed me for a forward-thinking CIO. One is they seem to also exhibit humility and they are very self-aware. And the second thing is these CIOs tend to be hungry and eager to always want to learn new things for self-improvement.
I'm very glad you brought up this point because not just CIOs, but really the best executives that I have interviewed share those characteristics of humility and self-awareness. They understand their role in the whole, and they understand that it's not about them, but it's about supporting other people to achieve the shared goals. And I've seen this as a common thread, and it really belies this kind of myth of senior leaders as being arrogant and horrible and not listening and totally self-centered. And I'm sure there are many senior leaders, as there are others, who have those kind of narcissistic characteristics. But the innovative leaders, I speak to the most innovative leaders, and those people, absolutely, the characteristics, the attributes are humility and self-awareness, as you just described.
Yeah, absolutely. And Michael, beside busy talking with some of the movers and shakers in the world and sharing your perspectives as a columnist for ZDNet, you're also quite active on the startup scene. And I often hear you discuss the topic of innovation. So I'm very curious, how can a established company learn from a startup?
It's a really good question. So we have to first understand the difference between a startup and a big company. And yes, of course, a startup has, few people and less revenue, and big companies have lots of people. But what does that actually mean? It means that innovation for a startup is existential. You don't innovate if you're a startup, well, you will die. And it's not going to take very long for you to die, to go out of business. On the other hand, if you're a large company and you don't innovate, death will occur, but in slow motion. It's going to take a long, long time. So the real thing that large companies need to somehow figure out for themselves is, number one, how do you create this sense of urgency that innovation is really important? So that's the first thing. Number two is, how do you create processes and approaches to allow for innovation? The challenge that large organizations tend to have is they have an existing body of customers, of processes, of revenue streams, and nobody wants to disrupt those. And with good reason, right? I mean, if you're buying paper towels, you want to continue to be able to buy it, and you don't want the paper towel manufacturer to suddenly inject changes. Oh, we're doing this little experiment and we're going to, try to fail fast. No. You want the paper towels to be the same. So the question is, how can we inject innovation without disrupting ourselves? In some cases, you can create a new product. In other cases, a new division. In some cases, you might need to spin off part of the company, the real innovative part of the company, because the culture is just so different. But however you do it, there's going to be some challenge. And I would find those people, if you're working in a large company and you want to really spur innovation, I would find people inside the organization who love change and who want to be part of change and who will believe in your mission and believe and make it part of themselves. Start with those people and let them figure it out. Right? We can talk about any of 100 different permutations and ways of doing it, but start with those folks who feel innovation and feel change and love it, and give them the freedom to figure it out and support them. Give them some funding, give them a place to be. Don't make it hard on them, make it easy for them. That's what I would do.
Yeah. Sage advice. And speaking of innovation, we can't speak of innovation without talking about creativity. And I really love to wrap up this discussion with your creative side, Michael, the photographer. How is this passion providing balance to your life, especially during these crazy times?
I wish I could say that it provides balance. I love taking photographs. It operates a very different part of my brain. Usually it's, and my brain is very analytical and focused and so forth. And taking photographs just operates this different part of the brain. For me, what's so amazing is to look at a particular scene, and you want to then compose it and make sure the lighting is right, and it somehow tells a story. And then you snap this button, the shutter, and it doesn't matter if it's on the phone or a $5,000 camera, it makes no difference at all. You're snapping the shutter and you're absorbing this outside image through this technology. And what I find really interesting is to try to visualize it, which I really always do, is to visualize that in advance. As a matter of fact, a lot of times I'll take photos and I don't even look at them again because I know what it is. I took this, I know how the technology operates, and I know what I've got. And so as far as balance goes, I don't know about balance, but I sure do enjoy it. And it doesn't make any sense that I should be able to take photos, but somehow there you go.
Yeah, well, Michael, I think you're balancing your analytical brain with your creative brain. So to me, that is the sense of balance. And I've personally seen your amazing work. And I really like to congratulate you for all your achievement, whether be, doing your day job or in your photography work.
Well, you're beyond kind. And my mother is smiling right now.
I am glad, Michael. Well, I so enjoyed this conversation today. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
You've been watching another episode of Executive Insights by the IT Media Group. Thank you for tuning in. If you like this video, please check out other CIO-centric content on our YouTube channel, including roundtable conversations and executive interviews. And don't forget to subscribe.